Hey everybody, Meriden Gaming here, and for today's Monday Spotlight, we're going to be checking out Stellaris. This is one of my favorite space civilization games to play. I've never actually managed to finish a game yet, just because they can last so long. But I do play this with a couple friends, and it's a lot of fun. It's kind of similar to like Civ or Civilization or what's the other one? Endless Space. You know, one of those where you have a skill tree or not skill tree, but like a tech tree to go through, and you're trying to take over other planets and whatnot. So let's go ahead and start a new game. I don't have all the DLC, but you can actually, depending on which DLCs you have, and actually even with the base, you can create your own races. So that way you can have, custom starting skills and whatnot. Um, so the one I'm going to start with is, let's see, I believe it's this one. Yes, it's this one. Because this allows me to get more, to research my tech a whole lot faster and whatnot. Um, and then also being materialist, it ups my research speed as well. All right, so let's see. This is pretty much just the standard settings. We'll up this a little bit. And so we need to go up a level. Go to Captain for difficulty. Um, and basically Iron Man mode, this basically disables cheats, so we'll leave that on as well. If you do want to use some of the command codes to where you can give yourself a little bit of a boost if you're just playing for fun or whatnot, you can do that. And basically there's a few different, you have your standard AI, and then how big you want your galaxy size. Advanced AI starts, basically you can have it set to where they can start with a whole lot more technology or more star systems than you have, which I'm not going to do that because that, like, literally you can lose the game pretty quickly if you start next to one that is very militaristic. And then Fallen Empires, those are empires that are super advanced, but they don't expand. If you can manage to kind of coerce them into your side, they can be a very powerful ally. And then you can alter some of the other settings, like how fast your tech goes, how fast you research stuff, and how many habitable worlds. Because not only are you taking over star systems, you're taking over worlds to expand your population. So, um, yeah, let's go for that. Although I forgot to check to see if I set it to where they spawn close to us or far away from us for the other AI. Alright, this basically just gives us a general overview of our settings for our race. And it starts paused. You can speed up the game and pause it whenever you need to read some of the stuff. But since I played this quite a bit, I know what I want to do. First things first, let's go to our shipyard. So one of the cool things about this is as you research technologies, you can have it set to just do the auto best, but that's not always truly the best. But you can actually build ships once you research stuff. Um, Although this isn't where I do it. But anyway, first thing we're going to need, you need science ships in order to survey the surrounding uh, solar systems in order to be able to expand to those systems. So I always build an extra science ship right off the bat. And then the next thing we need to do is start our research. So typically you start off, you can pick 3 for each one of the different types of research. You have physics, society, engineering. Um, Physics tends to be your weapon, yeah, like your weapons for your ships, and then some of them revolve around buildings for your actual planets as well. Society, this tends to be more focused towards your planets and like tech buildings, or not necessarily tech buildings, but just different buildings to uh, increase your civilization's production and access to different materials. And then engineering tends to be like your um, thrusters and I believe shields, and then your mining outposts. Because basically, if you look down here at the bottom, you see this planet has these 5 what look like red gems. That is your production, and this will have abilities to increase or increase your output, like where it says mining station output. This would be a mining station, so it would increase that. Um, so I want to go for increasing my research speed. Yes, on all those. Because basically I want to be able to research everything faster and faster as this progresses. Because I'm not going to go for like super huge armadas for my ships to take on enemy empires. I prefer to have ships that are just so much more advanced that the enemy doesn't stand a chance against us. All right, so that is done. So we'll go ahead and unpause so that we can start. Um, and then if you hit the M key, you can go to the solar system map. So here's the solar system, well, the galaxy we're in. It's pretty big because I did pick the biggest one because I love long campaigns. Um, so what we can do is, as you can see, the green on our solar system is the ones that we have mining stations at. Um, but the white ones are the ones that we do not have stations at. So what we're going to do is we're going to select our constructor ship, which you can do from clicking it here or over here. And you just right click on it. And depending if we have enough, which right now all we can do is the research stations, so we'll go ahead and do those. And then whenever they have a chance, we can build the mining stations. So as you can see, let me pause this real quick. As you can see, these lines here are what connect you to the other systems. So basically, in order to send a construction ship to those to build a starbase, you have to survey it with a science vessel. And typically, I try to have at least 3 science vessels, and I keep adding more as I expand out and I want to expand further. You can unlock automatic surveying later in the game, depending on which research pops up, because it is random about which ones pop up, I believe, to a certain extent. And then I want at least 2 constructors, or if there's like on here where I've got like I can get one constructor to do this, but see where this splits off one direction and this one goes another direction, I will have a constructor ship going both directions, and then one going up, well, probably 2 going this direction as well. The one thing you have to look at is based on your empire sprawl. You see I have 33 out of 50. Well, I can't get above 50 without getting, you can get above 50, but the problem is you start suffering very negative, whatever you call it, not benefits, but issues, I guess, I don't know. So basically, while it's lower than your, whatever, you have no penalties. But then if you go over, it increases the cost of technologies, traditions, leaders, edicts, and campaigns. So you really don't want to go over that. So anyway, let's go ahead and start exploring. We're going to explore this little area here with our first ship and our second ship that just finished building. You have to assign a leader to science ships in order to have them survey stuff. I don't think any of these. See, that's a leadership gain, research speed, research speed. So these 2 would be good to put in our research areas. So we're going to actually just. Oh, I don't have enough energy. Well, so much for that. Let me unpause so we can get a little bit more energy. Because we have to have at least 200 before we can send him out. Or before we can get one. And actually, let's go ahead and speed up the game just a little bit. Just so that we can get our energy. See, look, there we go. Now we've got enough energy. Let's recruit this guy. And then we select him. So he is on our new ship. And let's go this way. Survey system. Okay. And then one other thing we have to look at is our actual planet. I'll just let them build up. So you have your standard buildings here, which are the individual buildings, and they give you resource gathering, basically. And then you also have districts.
Construction project concluded.
Okay, apparently he just finished that. Um, so with the districts, you have a limited number, which is this right here, and then the red little spots here. Actually, let me pause this. It's moving pretty quickly. The red spots means there are what are called blockers, but you have to research specific technologies to remove those. So those could be like there's a swamp and you need to deswampify, which is not a word, but you know what I mean. Um, and each of these gives you different benefits. Like this one gives you this one gives you housing along with so you get more population total along with a couple of different resources. Energy, of course, that's what gives you uh, that's what you spend a lot of to expand and whatnot. And then as you have more ships and more buildings, you need more energy production to um, keep those because it's a plus minus kind of deal. Like you have so much that uses electricity or energy, and then you have to produce more than that in order to keep building up. Because you can go negative, and that has problems as well. You also have mining districts. This is what gives you your minerals to build like physical structures. I tend not to put too many of those. I tend to go for energy, um, just because you tend to get a lot of mineral production from your bases or your mining stations, um, and not quite so much from uh, for energy. Like energy is what you need a lot of. That's kind of like your base resource, which you can actually spend some resources to buy others. And energy is like the main factor or the one that basically allows you to buy all the others. So I always try to go for a lot of that. And of course, you want to keep up your food production for your population as well, because that's how your population grows. If it's negative, then of course you have problems with them starving or something, and then your popularity goes down, and they can revolt. But as far as this goes, what I need to do first is, well, get more minerals, apparently. So we'll have to hold off on that. But one of the things I always like to build first is a couple of the administrative offices. That's what gives us our increase to Empire Sprawl. So always these first two buildings that I get, I always build two of those. And then as you research stuff, you can upgrade these buildings too. So we'll go ahead and unpause and then take our construction ship and we can go ahead and build some mining stations so we can get a little bit more resources. And typically, I only build mining stations, especially like for energy and uh, resources, so like minerals and whatnot, if if it provides at least three. But for this time, I'm just letting it go right now. But eventually, you can literally you'll have so much production that you can build, the max amount in each system. And each system has a little bit different. It depends on what kind of planets are in the system and what kind of stars are in the system as to what they produce. For example, right here, oh, I did not unpause that, did I? Why is it not? There we go. Um, for example, this one is a potentially habitable world. It is going to, I think they probably have to scan it a little bit more. Um, so let's go ahead and look at that actually. Did they fully scan it? Oh yeah, they did fully scan it. So for my race, this is not very habitable. In order to actually make it habitable, we will have to research the terraforming uh, technology, and then we can make it habitable. Or if we ally with another faction or race, we can. There's an ability to where your peoples can kind of migrate to their systems and your systems, even though they'd still be under our control. If we get another race that can actually use that style planet, we can populate it with them. And then, of course, we also have a few military ships, which we don't have a leader for them. Let's go ahead and get one, because that always helps. Okay, we got evasion and sublight speed. Experience and evasion and sublight speed. Let's take the youngest one. Because your leaders and researchers, unless you are, depending on the race, most of them will die off and you will have to replace them eventually. So if all things are similar as far as stats, I always go with the youngest one so that he's in place and can gain more experience.
System survey concluded.
Alright, system survey concluded. There, see, this one
project concluded.
Doesn't have a lot, but we can go ahead and build a starbase. And starbase cost influence, and then typically, I want to say it was minerals. And sometimes there's research projects in this, which there aren't this time, but you just right click on it after you've surveyed it with your science ship selected, and they can research stuff which will get you bonuses.
Situation log updated.
Okay. And we'll send our little science ship to the next spot and keep moving around. Now let's see if we've got enough to... Nope, still not quite enough. We need 400. Oh, there we go. 400. Because for each system you survey, it does cost, I believe it's 1 point per system surveyed for your Empire Sprawl. And then every time you build a starbase, that counts towards it as well. Because that brings the system under your control. Oh, and we finally got enough unity, which is another one of the resources, that we can start
construction project concluded.
Researching one of these. I tend to like since I tend to expand a lot, I try to go for the expansion and then discovery, but depending on your style of play, we'll leave it be for now. And I tend to, you can actually have them research stuff as they find it, but I like to let them survey first the entire thing, and then you can right click and tell them to research all the anomalies all at once. But yeah, depending on your playstyle, you can do a few different types of, these are kind of like government things or like overall civilization things, but I like to expand a lot, so I want my starbase to, I want my starbases not to cost as much. I don't know why I didn't go through. There it goes. Okay. And basically, in another 22 months, I will get another one. And you can get more Unity based on, I think there's some things you can research that give you more, and then I think there's a few buildings that will increase that for your planets.
System survey concluded.
Oh, awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and research the anomalies in this. Did he actually start researching? There we go. Okay, just making sure. And let's go ahead and go to our shipyard and get us a second construction ship going. Yeah, it's really slow starting off, but once you get your resources really rolling in, then you can really start expanding quickly. And the one thing I will note is once you find other races, if, say, he is here at this system, you don't want to take the one in between the two of you, and they will tend not to take it as well, because if you have them right next to each other where your borders are touching, that creates friction, which means they don't like you as much. Oh, I guess they finished. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. And he finished that, so let's go ahead and build a mining station to get that um, that
System
energy.
survey concluded.
Good. Okay, so research anomalies. That's pretty much what you do. You research your technologies, you expand your empire, and then you fight other. You can either try to fight them and take them out, or you can, which can be very complicated depending on what level you're playing on and some of the features based on the expansions you have.
Anomaly found.
Um, but then you can also form what is a called a federation,
Construction project
um,
concluded.
to where you can. Oh, look, see, here's a planet that we can colonize. So let's get a starbase out here. You can create a federation with multiple other races, and basically you become one giant, um, you know, not colony, but it's another term for federation. You basically become one giant civilization that you get benefits from each of them, and as your friendliness between the different races grows, you get different benefits, and you can create like a federation fleet to where not only you but
Research concluded.
the other races help contribute to that, and you can help defend each other and whatnot. Let's see, we got that. Now let's go ahead and research coil guns. And then you can win by your federation being the only race left, or I haven't looked at all the different win conditions. I've looked at mainly just the domination victory. But I believe there's a diplomatic way of winning as well. I think it's over here on the side. You also have a whole lot more
Construction
information.
project concluded.
All right, so now that we've got that, what we can do is we can come to this planet and we can hit colonize, because I believe it was a fairly high, yeah, 80%. That's good enough. So it's like this as our race. If you had other races that you've um, allied with, and you have your two different races going between your planets, you would have them as well in this drop down. So we'll click that, and now it's going to my shipyard will build my colony ship and send it out. Oh, there we go. Let's go ahead and get this one selected. It's like it's not actually selecting it. Or no, it did. And if you once you get all 5 of these selected and researched or whatever you want to call it, um, you start unlocking these slots, which give you even bigger benefits. Um, like see, like this one here, which I tend to go for, this research speed plus 10%. That's pretty big, especially when you're a little bit further into the game. And also one thing I did not mention was the star bases. So this is what your star base looks like. It's very similar to a planet or the shipyard like you saw before. Um, basically, it gives you control of the system,
Construction
and
project concluded.
you can upgrade it. Because if I upgrade it to a starport,
Research concluded.
then I start getting these. Let me go ahead and pause this. Then you start getting the modules and the buildings, which it's not going to let me pick them now. But actually, you know what? I can go to my main plant, my main one here. So this little icon here is what tells you what level starbase you have. This one has one that has a few of the buildings unlocked. So the modules are kind of like your shipyards, your gun batteries and defenses, and then you also have what's called an anchorage. The anchorage is what increases your naval capacity. So right now I can only have a maximum of 20 points of ships, um, and basically corvettes, which is your smallest cost one. The next tier up, which I think is destroyer, cost 2, and then the next tier up, it's either cost 3 or 4. Um, so I am very limited on my fleet at the moment. And then your other buildings give you bonuses to other things like resource storage, because you can have like a maximum of 15K total of each resource. And then you have things that help to prevent enemy armadas from coming in and taking over your system quite as easily. Like this helps you keep them from running away as easily if you have a larger force. Um, and then like this one gives your own ships extra weapons range, so you can engage them from further away. And I can't remember what the crew quarters do. I want to say I don't remember honestly. Anyway, all right, let's go ahead and unpause, and we got a new research. Let's look at that. Okay, so we can up our pop
Research
speed,
concluded.
ground defense, or monthly unity. See, yeah, we definitely want that so we can get our bonuses from that faster. Let's go ahead and get more energy. We're going to go ahead and move our construction ship to this.
Anomaly found.
P for now. Oh yeah, they require alloys. But like I said, if you click on one of these, you have the ability to buy and sell. So if you buy, you have to use energy credits, but you can sell them if you have a lot of something, especially if you start reaching your max. You can sell, 5 or even 10K and gain energy. There is different research
Situation log updated.
that you can do to get a better rate, because I believe it's like 2 to 1 or 3 to 1, but you can get it to where it's, almost not quite 1 to 1, but like
System
3 to 2.
survey concluded.
All right. Get that going. And yeah, the only other thing, since we haven't discovered another race that you'd have to look at, would be the contacts. So there would be other races, which there are like, the full-on races like us, and then there's also like little minor ones. Like there's tends to be one that is like a research facility. That is, it only has like one little uh, base at a system, but they don't own the system. But you can ally with them, and they will give you, boosted research. Um, then there's also like um, pirate factions and stuff like that as well. I believe that's it. Market we covered, planets and sectors. Oh, expansion planner. So you can plan out
Construction
what you want to
project
do
concluded.
in your like what planets you want to colonize and whatnot. And then you've got, let's see,
Construction
edicts.
project
These
concluded.
are like little bonuses that you can enact. Weird amusement park. Um, to give you temporary boosts and whatnot, but it does cost, yeah, influence, which is also what you use to expand. So you have to get quite a bit in order to enact these. And you can have a default of 2, but then there are some of the um, whatever you call them, traditions that will allow you to increase the amount. And depending on which race you are, some of your benefits can allow you to do some different things. And then last but not least, we have the the ship designer. If you uncheck the auto generate designs, then you have the ability to create a new design. So, and this is one of the fun things about it, and you can name it whatever you want. Um,
Initial colonization phase commencing.
oh, we start colonizing. Let me pause this so it's not running. Okay, so you can select what type of ship you want, and this will change the types of slots you have um, based on which style ship you want. Um, so let's go ahead and go with a good ship. That one tends to be a little bit longer range. So, and then you can pick what you want on your ship. So I want a flak battery, drop that there. And then we've got two small um, types. So let's go ahead and go with this. This one can be a ship that has all slug-based weapons. And then you come down here and we can do our reactor. And you can pick if you want shields or armor. I think I'll do a couple things of armor and one shield for my picket ship. And then depending on what you've researched, you've got different benefits based on thrusters and hyperdrives and radar and all that. Um, and then you can name it. And save. And of course you can also, if you don't know what to put in all of them, you can just put like your weapons and then you can hit autocomplete ship and it would finish the rest of that. But yeah, of course we hadn't met any other. You also have factions, which are subsections of your like political um, entities or parties and whatnot. I don't have any yet, but you can kind of support one to get certain benefits like faster research speed or more unity or um, more soldiers and stuff like that. Um, and then, of course, you also have the different species because you can have multiple of the same species, but they're in different factions or whatever. Not factions, but the civilizations. Claims. This is whenever you want to go to war with a opposing civilization, you can make claims on some of their planets and systems in order to, whenever you take them over and you decide to end the war, you get to keep them. Because if you don't, whenever you end the war and they choose anything other than the option of status quo or something like that, to where whatever someone captured they get to keep. If they choose everything returns to normal, they would get all their systems back, which is very confusing. I still haven't quite figured out all the settings for that. Um, so I will have to do more research if y'all want to look into that, or if y'all want to see more of this game. But anyway, that's the basics of Stellaris. It's a really fun game if you like civilization building and you want to try a space style one instead of the standard Civilization or Clash of Clans or something like that. If you want to try a more um, broader space game. And then there's also mods for this. There's actually a Star Wars mod to where it's the entire known Star Wars universe, which is really cool. If you play this on Steam, you can download that. Um, Me and my brother are trying out that one. That one's pretty fun. But anyway, yeah, I guess that's it for Monday Spotlight. This is Meriden Gaming. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment down uh, in the comments section if you want to see more of this specific game. Um, and yeah, I guess I'll see you in the galaxy.